How's it going, guys? Today I want to talk to you about my second purchase from the Ball Watch Company. Now, some of you might have noted that at the end of last year, I made my first purchase from them. I picked up the Engineer II Marvelite, and I was really impressed by the quality and design of that watch and their customer service. They helped me answer some of the questions about that piece and provided me with extra links for their bracelet because it was too small for my arm. I mean, check out this arm, right? But aside from that, I made my second purchase from them recently, and it is this guy right here. This is the Ball Engineer II GMT Navigator. Now, this is one of their more limited production runs, but they do make it in different colorways and sizes, so I think it's still available on their website. And you can also check out eBay for some gray market dealers to pick up this watch. Now, this is probably the only review on YouTube right now about this piece, so I do hope you find it informative. And I will flip perspectives now so you guys can see this watch up close. So let me talk about the specs of this watch first, and then I'll give you my thoughts and opinion. So, this is actually my first GMT watch. And when I say that, I mean I have other watches that can give you different time zones, but this is the one with actual GMT hand, extra GMT hand, and it just looks gorgeous in person. And I really appreciate how well thought out this layout for the watch is, as well as its case dimensions. So we have a 40mm case. If I flip it this way and we talk about the thickness, it's about 12.5mm thick with that really nice partially domed sapphire crystal. From tip to tip here is 46.5mm, and then the lug gap for this bracelet here is 20mm. So really nice dimensions. It will suit a large number of wrist sizes. Now let's move in on the dial here and let me talk about some of the amazing features of this watch. Now, being a Ball watch, they do use micro tritium gas tubes. That's kind of their signature. And it's not displayed on all of the indices. It's displayed on that inner bezel there for the 24-hour time, GMT time. And it's also on the handset as well. With the bold Arabic numerals on the inner dial there, that's all filled with super luminova. So everything about this watch is super visible. Now at the top you do have the official Ball logo printed really nicely. And then near the 6 o'clock, you do have that red GMT print with automatic below. And then at the 3 o'clock, you also have a date complication on top of, you have the GMT function. So some people might think there's a lot going on with the style, but it still looks pretty symmetrical. I guess the only slight criticism I have about it is maybe the font for the inner Arabic numerals could be slightly smaller, but everything here is all about visibility and durability. Now let me talk specifically about the GMT function and how it's possible. So the heart of this watch, the movement, is the Ball caliber RR1201, and what that is, it's a base ETA 2893-2. But they do make some modifications to it because it is really shock resistant. And with this particular limited edition, they also use special movement oil, which they claim can allow it to operate at high temperature fluctuations, including minus 40 degrees Celsius. Here's an outdoor shot of the Ball GMT Navigator in Southern Ontario. You can see that our winters are no joke, so I'm really happy that Ball added the special movement oil that can withstand minus 40 degrees Celsius temperatures. So with this base ETA movement, the way you can move a GMT hand there, which is the arrow-tipped hand there, is if you unscrew the screw down crown here, and if you pop it to the first position, if you move it clockwise, you can actually advance the GMT hand, like I'm doing now. And then if you go the other way, you can do the quick date set function. And then if you pop it out all the way, you will basically hack and stop the main hands from moving, and you can set the time that way. And then listen to this wind action, it's great. You can barely hear anything. It's actually buttery smooth. I really appreciate that. And on top of that, I appreciate that this movement is super accurate. I've had this basically running for 2 weeks nonstop, and it's losing 1 second a day, which is insanely accurate, and it's COSC standards right there. This isn't a certified chronometer, but Ball does have certified chronometers. Now, with that GMT hand, it was interesting because when I originally had it set, I had it set for London, UK time, and I'm actually in London, Ontario, Canada. So London, UK was 5 hours ahead, but now you can see I've already advanced it about 8 hours. So the way, at least to my understanding, you can read the GMT hand is the GMT hand is the reference time zone that you're going to be going to, and the normal hour and minute hand is for local time. So you can see right now it is 2:22 in the afternoon, which 2 in the afternoon translates to about 1400 hours, and I have the GMT hand just passing the 2200 hours. So you can see that it's about 8 hours ahead now. And again, this is super well laid out because the way Ball does this with their loom, and I will throw up a loom shot, is really impressive. You have the micro gas tubes that luminesce green, and it matches the tip of the GMT hand there. And then with your normal handset, your hour, minute, and second hand, it actually luminesces yellow. So it's actually really easy to distinguish in darkness, what your local time is, which is the yellow color, versus what your reference traveling time is. Now let me talk about the finishing of this watch. If I flip it to the side, it's pretty much a pure polish finish, but you can see they do have some beveled edges near the shoulders of the case towards the lugs. The crown is signed RR, which is the railroad standard time, signature stamp from Ball. And then you have a nice distinguished polish and transition to a really mirror polish on the bezel there. And if you look at the dial too at this angle, you can see there's actually some nice depth to the dial. It's not just a simple matter of Ball printing and then putting the gas tubes on the outer bezel. That bezel is actually, the outer bezel with the tritium tube steps down to a chapter ring, and then you have the actual bold Arabic numerals. So really, really nice depth to the dial. Even the date aperture at the 3 o'clock kind of has a small step down into the date as well. So that's really, really impressive. Now let me talk a little bit about the stock bracelet. It's your fairly standard Ball butterfly deployment bracelet. So what you have is kind of this H-link bracelet setup, and you have the center links are high polish, and then you have some brushing and some fine detail work along the edges and polish along the sides of the bracelet. And these bracelet links are held in by screws. So that's really nice to see. You can just, to adjust it, you can screw it. There's only 2 half links. And with the butterfly deployment here, nicely milled out butterfly deployment. Now I got to talk about the end links too, which, let me flip it over so I can show you. They are solid end links on the back. But these first links here pushing into the case, they don't articulate at all. So it does kind of flare out slightly past the case. And the other thing too, let me see if I can set this up. they're pretty bent in this angle. So this bracelet isn't going to lie completely flat on your wrist. It's gonna lie like that. Now that being said, on wrist, at least for my size wrist, it's pretty comfortable. But this thing is also a strap monster too. With that 20mm lug gap, you can easily swap it out for straps or leather bands, those things, which I'll show you a shot of later. And let me just again open this up and I'll show you the case back. So I do find that Ball has some of the most intricate case back designs out of all the Swiss watch companies. Although this one is a little tame by their standards. You can see in the middle, it's got a deeply etched RR for the railroad standard time symbol. Then you do have the Ball Watch Company. It does state that it's anti-magnetic. And you might notice the rest of the polished case back, you can see that there's actually reference times for that GMT function, starting with London Greenwich Mean Time, and then you have plus or minus for different cities based off of that location, which is pretty cool to see. Another thing I want to show you, I don't know how well this shows up on camera, but you can see near the top of the solid end link, it says number 666 out of 1000. And again, this was limited to 1,000 pieces, and I got number 666. So someone's got a demonic sense of humor there. But again, that just shows you, the lot number for this particular run for this model. But overall, I really do enjoy the case back for this watch. Let me actually throw it on wrist right now so you guys can see how it wears. And here's a wrist shot for you guys with the Ball GMT Navigator on bracelet. I'll also show you a couple of shots with it on a leather strap, which I really enjoy. Hey guys, here's a wrist shot of the Ball GMT Navigator, and I just love it on this this honey brown strap. It's super comfortable, and I think the contrast in the light color of a strap really helps make that black dial pop. Okay guys, time to wrap up this video. I'll just conclude by saying that Ball makes some spectacular watches for their money. Their motto is accuracy under adverse conditions, and I truly believe it with this watch. So that's it for now guys. I'll catch you in the next video.